freedom,
family,
world unity.
All these things and more will be discussed on this podcast.
Real stories, real people, real debates. On this podcast, we like to express our freedoms and talk about anything and everything goes.
Like freedom, family is important to us, and anybody that is listening, watching, or coming on the show as a guest star are all considered part of the greatest family to ever bless the solar system, the human race. No matter who you are, where you come from, you will always have a voice here on this podcast.
We like to flex our First Amendment, where all speeches and opinions are accepted for the right of freedom of speech. We have a saying we like to live by. Live life with eyes wide open. Being open-minded leads to true understanding of the world as it really is. Please, come, join us, and enjoy this experience as we embark on this journey of truth as we dismantle the subjective truth. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And you're experiencing high consciousness.
Disclaimer. Any and all information on topics presented are to the best of all who is present in each episode's knowledge. The goal of this podcast is to bring people together and set the example we all wish to see in our everyday lives. Whether it's home life, education, politics, history, business, etc. Any and all subjects can and will be talked and peacefully debated about on this podcast. On debate episodes, there will be a set rules of debate that hosts and guests alike must follow. We ask that you, the audience, like we ask of our guests, in the comments to please try to keep the language as clean as possible. We are a podcast for entertainment as well as educational purposes. Here we are all equal no matter what race, age, or gender. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Hi, y'all.
And welcome back
To another episode of
High Consciousness.
I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria, and we are
High Consciousness.
Welcome back to another episode, everybody. We have our friend Tyler returning on the podcast today. He was on last week's Thursday's episode, and, well, big announcement. We have decided to hire him as our editor. Give him a big round of applause. So, all the editing that you will be seeing from now on will be all Tyler's handiwork. So, we hope you enjoy it as much as we will. Anyway, so, moving along. Last week's episode on Monday, when we talked about the Constitution, we were talking about
Prussia.
The King of Prussia, and there was this document that our founding father, Benjamin Franklin, had written up called The Edict of the King of Prussia, and it was a satire piece, which means, it was a comedy piece, it's not real, but he wrote it as an example, saying like, oh, the King of Prussia, bought out England, and
fast for all these goods and for whatever metal or wool that we make, we as people don't make no profit on it. Better yet, we gotta sell everything give everything to Prussia, so Prussia can evaluate their own value on it, and then re-import it to the people, to the market. Inflate the prices on it, essentially.
Well,
bless you.
Thank you. There was that, and it was kind of like almost he was talking about the foreign policy that would be developed in the future. Like, for example, today in the U.S., we end up, mining a lot of things, or we make a lot of plastics, but we make them in like big sheets and then we send it off to China. China makes them into, whatever products that we need, all kinds of cloth and fabric and metals and other things, because, most of everything here in America, as you would see it in the store, when you turn it over, the sticker always says what?
Made in China.
There you go. So it's kind of like the foreign policies that we have today, except he was giving us an example of it all the way back then in a satire piece, saying, the King of Prussia, bought out England, and now it put in all these importation laws where we're gonna, they're going to get all this, they're gonna collect everything, and then they're going to pay Prussia to take their things, and then Prussia is going to manufacture all these different things from the things that, everybody had collected, and then they would have to buy them back
from Prussia
as a final manufactured piece. So it's like paying 2 or 3 times for the same thing that
twice.
You could have done yourself. And not only that, but the King of Prussia had, put in all these laws saying, oh, if you even get caught with trying to get around the land laws of forbidden independent manufacturing for the counties and the country of Britain, but if you even get caught in a riverboat trying to do that, trying to create your own manufacturing on a riverboat, guess what? We thought ahead of you. You can't do that either. So that totally land and sea locked Britain in his satire piece from being able to do any kind of manufacturing on their own, independent manufacturing, which would help their economy, but they were under, Prussia's thumb. So it was a warning to the young American colonies before things got too bad with the king at the time.
Mm-hmm. As far as satire goes, no small business could become a big business, couldn't expand or none of that.
Mm-hmm. Like if you had more than 2 apprentices, so if you had even just one more apprentice, you would get paid a very hefty fine for it. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but then they would threaten to close your business down too. So it was like, So even if you were the biggest, for the example that they gave, the biggest hat seller in town because you had the best hats, and so everybody came to your store. If you can't keep up with stock, well, then you got to ask Prussia to help you keep up with your stock. So it's just, it's no bueno. It's not good.
That's what we call it, double whammy.
Double whammy taxation.
But now we shall continue on with the other writings in the Constitution.
Ooh, I guess that's where you could kind of say, like, this is the beginning stages of where our forefathers are trying to instill within the young American minds at the time.
Free will.
Well, not only that, but no taxation without representation.
Mm-hmm.
These could be the beginning stages of, that stance that they took.
I agree. But for now, we shall continue on with another piece written by our famous Benjamin Franklin. Rules by which a great empire may be reduced to a small one. 1773. A companion to Benjamin Franklin's An Edict by the King of Prussia, these rules were also satire, an attempt by Franklin to persuade British civilians to empathize with the lives and struggles of the American colonists.
Oh, just real quick. This kind of reminds me of, because we watched V for Vendetta a few days ago. Remember how V said that, or not V, Evie, the girl. She said that artists use lies to tell the truth and politicians use lies to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where our Benjamin Franklin, using his creative side, his artist side as a writer,
they tell a lie, but the lie would be telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. Using lies to tell the truth.
Printed in the Public Advertiser, September 11th, 1773. Incomplete draft and notes, American Philosophical Society. Philosophical Society. For the Public Advertiser, rules by which a great empire may be reduced to a small one. Presented privately to a late minister when he entered upon his administration, and now first published. An ancient sage valued himself upon this, that though he could not fiddle, he knew how to make a great city of a little one. The science that I, a modern simpleton, am about to communicate is the very reverse. I address myself to all ministers who have the management of extensive dominions, which from their very greatness are become troublesome to govern, because the multiplicity of their affairs leaves no time for fiddling. 1. In the first place, gentlemen, you are to consider that a great empire, like a great cake, is most easily diminished at the edges. Turn your attention therefore first to your remotest province, that as you get rid of them, the next may follow in order. Number 2.
So I guess that's where they're saying if you want to begin the process of reducing a big empire into a little one, you got to start chipping away at the edges.
Like a cake. Because the most diminished parts of the cake is the edges, because it gets bumped into and shoveled up a lot.
Mm-hmm. And the others will follow suit.
Mm-hmm. Rule number 2. That the possibility of this separation may always exist. Take special care the province are never incorporated with the mother country, that they do not enjoy the same common rights, the same privileges in commerce, and that they are governed by severer laws, all of your enacting without allowing them any share in the choice of the legislators. By carefully making and preserving such distinctions, you will, to keep to my simile of the cake, act like a wise gingerbread baker, who, to facilitate a division, cut his dough half in those places where, when baked, he would have it in broken to pieces.
You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man! I'm sorry, when you said the gingerbread baker, or ginger baker or whatever,
yeah,
I was
gingerbread
like,
baker.
Gingerbread man!
Rule number 3. These remote province have acquired, purchased, or conquered at the sole expense of the settlers of their ancestors, without the aid of the mother country. If this should happen, to increase her strength by their growing numbers, ready to join in her wars, her commerce by their growing demand for her manufactures, or her naval powers by greater employment for her ships and seamen, they may probably suppose some merit in this, and that it entitles them to some favor. You therefore to forget it all, or represent it as they had done you injury. If they happen to be zealous Whigs, friends of liberty, nurtured in revolution principles, remember all that to their prejudice, and contrive to punish it. For such principles, after a revolution is thoroughly established, are of no more use. They are even odious and abominable. Abominable.
Yeah, that word is hard to say. Abominable.
Well, it's right after odious.
Right after odious.
You got any take on rule 3?
Let me reread it. Let me brush over it one more time.
Mm-hmm. I think I misread it. Sorry, I'm monotone.
I mean...
Sorry, I'm monotone, but...
I'm not really sure what to make of it. Either I'm just having a blank moment, or...
What do you say, Tyler? And you want to read it to make sure that I didn't overread anything or misstep anything? Because I know I'm monotone, but I'm pretty sure I didn't word salad, though. That section right here. So I'll say start. I'll say...
on the previous page.
Yes, it does. Section 3.
I mean, I guess it's kind of saying, like, the government purchases, ancient ancestral lands from settlers, and, it tries to get them on their side in order to fight in the wars for more conquest, in order to grow the empire. But aren't we trying to reduce the big empire, not...
I agree. That's why I wanted y'all to kind of reread that and make sure I didn't misread that.
Like, what? Hold up. Because that kind of seemed like,
I know. That's why when I was reading, I was like, I feel like some people will misinterpret what I'm reading right here. So
I feel like it's talking about what the settlers conquered on their own,
right?
Which belonged to them.
Other than it being to the mother country.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the settlers pretty much kicking the mother country off their lands.
Yeah, because they're the ones that did the hard work, and whereas the mother country coming in and taking all the credit for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I understand that better. Thank you for reviewing that.
Now, rule number 4. However, peacefully, your colonies have submitted to your government, shown their affection to your interests, peacefully borne their grievances, you are supposed them always inclined to revolt, and treat them accordingly. Quarter troops among them, who by their insolence may provoke the rising of mobs, and by their bullets and by bayonets suppress them. By these means, like the husband who uses his wife from suspicion, you may in time convert your suspicions into realities.
So basically saying, troops that want to come and take up your quarters, you got the right to kick them out. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what that's saying. You can turn your suspicions into they want to, come up in my house and do some, do some shady stuff. Nah.
To suppose them always inclined to revolt and treat them accordingly. Quoted truths among them who by their insolence may provoke their rising laws. Yep. Basically saying like they're going to try to be like the husbands and try to like the husband who uses his wife ill from suspicion. Interesting. Now rule number 5. Remote provinces must have governors and judges to represent the royal person and execute everywhere the delegated parts of his office and authority. You ministers know that such of the strength of government depends on the opinion of the people, and much of that opinion on the choices of rulers placed immediately over them. If you send them wise and good men for governors who study the interests of the colonists and advance their prosperity, they will think their king wise and good, and that he wishes the welfare of his subjects. If you send them learned and upright men for judges, they will think him a lover of justice. This may attach your provinces more to his government. You are therefore to be careful who you recommend for those offices. If you can find proteges who have ruined their fortunes, broken gamesters, or stock jobbers, these may do well as governors, for they will probably be rapacious and provoke the people by their extortions.
Hold on. Let's pause for a second. What does rapacious mean?
rapacius.
Take it to the matrix.
That's why I was like, something. I was like, rape. How am I supposed to say that word? Reparations?
You stupid.
I don't know they had rap back then.
Rapacious.
I didn't know either.
Aggressively greedy or grasping. For example, rapacious landlords.
And they will do for governors. And these will do well as governors.
Greedy people? Wait, what? Huh?
For they will probably be rapacious and provoke the people by their extortions.
And then...
wrangling proctors, and petty fogging lawyers too are not amiss, for they will be forever disputing and quarreling with their little parliaments. If withal they should be ignorant, wrong-headed, and insolent, so much the better. Attorney clerks and Newgate solicitors will do for chief justices, especially if they hold their places during your pleasure, and all will contribute to impress those ideas of your government that are proper for people you would wish to renounce it.
Wait.
Renounce it.
What? Hold up.
Yeah, number 5 is a long one. Rule number 5 is this.
Let me just reread that one more time.
Yeah, it's talking about...
Remote provinces must have governors and judges to represent the royal person and execute every...
delegate parts of his office.
So to represent the royal person, meaning like the royal head of the state.
Yes.
And it's saying like, the greedier, the more rapacious they are, the better for the royal person, because then the royal head of state could get away with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess...
Did I slaughter royal? Or did I just speak... Did I speak so monotone that you just misheard me say royal?
Maybe.
Oh,
Remote
God.
provinces must have governors and judges to represent the royal person and execute everywhere the delegated parts of his office and authority. You ministers know that much of the strength of government depends on the opinion of the people, and much of that opinion on the choice of rulers placed immediately over them. If you send them wise and good men for governors who study the interest of the colonists and advance their prosperity, they will think their king wise and good, and that he wishes the welfare of his subjects. If you send them learned and upright men for judges, they will think him a lover of justice. Okay, so that's for the, this is where things can be good. If you can find prodigals who have ruined their fortunes, broken gamesters, or stock jobbers, these may do well as governors. Wait, so then I guess we'd have to figure out what prodigals mean, because right here, this second part is like, why would someone that's ruined their fortune, probably not good at games, stock jobber, as far as I know, stock jobber, that means, like, you're not very good at picking the good stocks. Like, why would you want somebody like that as a governor?
Remember,
Why?
these are rules to turn a big empire into a small empire.
Mm-hmm.
These are rules and ways to ruin your empire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
See?
I see what Ben is doing here. Okay, read.
I don't know. I keep reading it and you got to read over me. I don't know. Maybe you should.
Because, like, I had the mindset of, this would be something of, like, a good thing, how to rule a small empire, maybe,
No.
But no, this is the handbook of how to destroy your empire from the inside out.
Yeah, it's a companion of the Edict of the King of Prussia. It's probably written the exact same way. Because it's comedy. You guys remember, back then, our comedy is different now than it was back in 1770.
I don't know, it's not that much different.
Really?
This is just putting old-timey words and stuff at the birth of a country, but if you take this and then you listen to our comedians...
Yeah, but did you know that Dante's Inferno is considered a comedy? That's not very funny.
Well, comedies, depending on the eras, the term changes. So comedy back in those days used to mean something that had equal, like, light and dark scenes within it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were other comedies that were categorized as tragic comedies, meaning there was some kind of humor to it, but it's not in a sense, it's the dark humor part of it. Which, I mean, that kind of comedy exists today. I mean, comedy really falls into multiple different categories.
Hard.
There's funny comedies, there's romantic comedies, there's tragic comedies, there's dark humor comedies.
I know Comedy Central seems to differ. That's supposed to be funny.
Nah, it depends on who's on.
True. But anyway, rule number 6. To confirm these impressions and strike them deeper whenever the injured come to the capital with complaints of maladministrations, oppression, or injustice, punish such suitors with long delay, enormous expense, and a final judgment in favor of the oppressor. This will have an admirable effect every way. The trouble of future complaints will be prevented, and governors and judges will be encouraged to farther acts of oppression and injustice, and hence the people may become more disaffected and at length desperate.
Like that.
Yep.
Help!
Yep. And rule number 7: when such governors have crammed their coffers,
Cram their coffers?
Coffers. So I was right the first time.
Coffer, like coffin.
Coffin. When such governors have crammed their coffers and made themselves too odious to the people, that they can no longer remain among them with safety to their persons, recall and reward them with pensions. You may make them baronets too, if that respectable order should not think fit to resent it. All will contribute to encourage new governors in the same practices, and make the supreme government detestable.
That sounds a little something like what's currently happening today within our own government. Kind of the you fail up process, and then when you have the failing up and you go up and up and up in power so much that you end up having the favor of all the judges and all the governors, and now that supreme government cannot be detested.
You fail.
Like,
Okay, you're the biggest failure.
Just gaslight till everybody obeys, pretty much. Oh my goodness.
But this is chapter 8 now. Now this is rule number 8.
Little did we know, our own forefather gave us the instructions on how to destroy our own country.
Well, no, because they're trying to destroy the country that they're trying to get away from. Anyway, Chapter 8. When you are engaged in war, your colonies should be in liberal aids of men and money against the common enemy. Upon your simple requisition, and give far beyond their abilities, reflect that a penny taken from them by your power is more honorable to you than a pound presented by their benevolence. Despise, therefore, the revolutionary grants and resolve to harness them with noble taxes. They will probably complain to your parliaments that they are taxed by a body in which they have no representative, and that this is contrary to common right. They will petition for redress, let the parliaments flout their claims, reject their petitions, refuse even to suffer the reading of them, and treat the petitioners with the utmost contempt. Nothing can have a better effect in producing the alienation proposed, for though many can forgive injuries, none forgave contempt.
Well, that beginning part about how, oh yeah, let's just give you money to, fight your enemies, and then we own you.
Content.
That sounds like, China and what they did, with India and the other, bordering countries where, they let them so much money, and now technically China owns them for the next 100 years because that's part of their contract.
Yeah, and China's still...
It's like, oh yeah, we'll give you a penny, but you give us your lives. Yeah. And your land.
And you're broke. And you're still broke.
And China's still broke.
You're still broke.
Yep, that's right.
The whole, East is still broke.
Yes, that they are.
We're still broke. We're broke too. Everybody's broke.
Yeah, we're broke.
Everybody's
America's broke. We are 36 trillion. That's T. It goes mil, mil, bill, and then trillion. We are $36 trillion in debt.
To who? We don't know. To the world?
To the whole, so many countries we can't even keep track.
To the world?
To the world, pretty much.
And then what if we just cut the debt off and just become an isolation country? Then what happens?
There might be great improvement. I don't know how all that would work.
Or as those people that come in asking for money, it's coming for blood now. Hey, you ain't paying us, so now come for your land. You come for our land. Did you forget what happened when Japan didn't want to invade us?
Did you forget about our 1776?
and this is
forget the 1950s.
And on top of that, if you knew, because no one's getting paid, so what you gonna do? The ball's in your court now.
Ball's in your court. Fancy.
I mean that's pretty much what I think about when I think about the trip. What if we just everyone that's refuses to go to work or refuses to pay their taxes?
Well,
everybody just say
the government wouldn't be able to fund itself and keep going. That's what would happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody stopped paying their taxes, the government wouldn't have money to give to other countries for war. They wouldn't. If we didn't pay our taxes, they couldn't run. The government couldn't run because the government solely depends on, our money. The taxpayer dollars. I mean, yes, granted, there are, places, where, people like BlackRock and Vanguard and, all the rich families of the world that everybody knows about now and, 13 rich families that live here in America. Yes, granted, they own our government, but they wouldn't have all that money if it wasn't for us, the little guys. And I think in this time and place, on, both the red and the blue side, the elites of both sides are, they forget that their government only runs because of us. They're only there in office and in power in the first place because of us, the little guys. Mm-hmm. It's always because of us. They have their hands in all these stocks and manufacturing and shit because of us. That wouldn't have happened without us.
And then with that, we go into rule number 9. In laying these taxes...
Speaking of...
Exactly. Never regard the heavy burdens those remote people already undergoing in defending their own frontiers, supporting their own provincial governments, making new roads...
Provincial.
Provincial.
Provincial. Yeah, because you did not say province at all. Not even close.
Provincial. Supporting their own provincial. That's how I said it. Did I stumble on my own word? Provincial. Provincial.
Did they, Junior?
No. Supporting their own provincial government. Yeah, I want to say profit, but it's not provincial. Making new roads, building bridges, churches, and other public edifices, which in old countries have been done by your hands, by your ancestors, by which occasions constant calls and demands on the purses of a new people. Forget the restraints you lay on their trade for your own benefit, and the advantages and monopoly of this trade gives your exacting merchants think nothing of the wealth those merchants and your manufacturers acquired by the colony comments, their increased ability thereby to pay taxes at home, they're accumulating in the price of their commodities, most of those taxes, and so leveling them from their consumers. All this in the employment and support of thousands of your poor by the colonists. You are entirely to forget, but remember to make your arbitrary tax more grievous to your province, by public declaration importing that your power of taxing them has no limits, so that when you take from them without their consent a shilling in the pound, you have a clear right to the other 19. This will probably weaken every idea of security in their property, and convince them that under such a government, by having nothing they can call their own, which can scarce fail of producing the happiest consequences.
Ooh, pretty much saying,
you'll have nothing to be happy.
Yeah, that sounds like the World Economic Forum, which they legitimately did say that in the World Economic Forum in 2002 and 2003.
I thought it was 2022 and 2023.
Or, yeah, 2022 and 2023. Sorry. But they might have been pushing this agenda since the early 2000s.
Well, that's probably...
That's probably where I got that from, because I have been looking at older EF.
They probably were thinking how fast this was going to expand. You gotta remember, 100 years ago, we were in horses and buggies.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. It was till now that we started developing cars 100 years ago. Back in the 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was Henry Ford and all that.
Well, that's been 120 years with the cars, but Harrison Ford sped up the process by introducing the assembly line.
Mm-hmm. No, not Harrison. That's...
Henry Ford?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Ford is, Indiana Jones. that's Indiana Jones.
No, that's Han Solo, damn it.
Yeah.
And Han Solo, sorry.
And also he was the fugitive, too. You can't forget about that.
The Fugitive. That was a good movie, though.
It was. Don't shit on it.
I'm not.
It's a real good movie.
It's a real good movie.
Shit.
And who's a what's it?
And who's a what? Rule number 10. Possibly, indeed, some of them might still comfort themselves and say, though we have no property, we have yet something left that is valuable, constitutional liberty, both of person and of conscience. This king, these lords, and these commons, who it seems are too remote from us to know us and feel for us, cannot take from us our corpus right. Habeas corpus right, or our right of trial by a jury of our neighbors. They cannot deprive us of the exercise of our religion, alter our
ecclesiastical. How do you say that word?
Ecclesiastical. Ecclesiastical constitution.
I can't even say that word.
Right here. Where my finger? Ecclesiastical.
Ecclesiastical.
Oh, thank you.
Ecclesiastical constitutions.
Why so much phlegm?
Because I respect the name. I am.
It's like
I'm from Arrakis, alright? That's a phlegm in the name. I'm Iraq. Well, extra phlegm
What
in
is
his
this,
name.
dude?
That's right. The consonant pronounced needs more phlegm for my moisture. To it.
I'm gonna do my best to animate something coming out of your mouth when you did that.
And compel us to be papists, if they please. Or Mahometans.
What? Oh, what the what now?
Mahometans. Mahometans.
Mahometans, yeah.
Yeah, but I did not mispronounce that. I know Patrick Mahomes, so I know that says Mahometans. Right?
Fun fact.
Yeah.
This is a walking, talking sports almanac right here. He could tell you anything about sports, even all the way back from, what, the 1970s, 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopping a DeLorean now and bring him back to 1985.
Mahometans.
Hop in the whip, we're going 1985. Back to the future.
Oh, boy. Anyway. Whew. And compel us to be papists, if they please, or Mahometans. To annihilate this comfort, begin by laws to perplex their comments. With infinite regulations impossible to be remembered and observed, obtain seizures of their property. For every failure, take away the trial of such property by jury, and give it to arbitrary judges of your own appointing, and of the lowest characters in the country, whose salaries and emoluments are to arise out of the duties of condemnations, and whose appointments are during pleasures, that let there be a formal declarations of both houses, that opposition to your edicts is treason, and that persons suspected of treason in the province may, according to some obsolete law, be seized and sent to the metropolis of the empire for trial, and pass an act that those there charged with certain other offences shall be sent away in chains from their friends and country, to be tried in the same manner for felony. Then erect a new court of inquisitions, a new court of inquisitions among them, accompanied by an armed forces.
You can say Spanish Inquisitions just fine, but when you're trying to read the word, you can't. Inquisition. There you go. The Spanish Inquisition.
Then erect a new court of inquisitions. I always want to talk joke to me. See what I gotta do with people? I got a co-host that don't appreciate the host.
You still have to edit people?
Yes. Our poor technician too. Among them, accompanied by
I'm crying.
by an armed force with instructions to transport all such suspected persons, to be ruined by the expense if they bring over evidence to prove their innocence or be found guilty, and hanged if they can't afford it, unless the people should think you cannot possibly go any further past another solemn declaratory. Declaratory. Yeah, go on, say it like me. Declaratory act that King, Lords, and Commons had and of rights oath to have full power and authority to make statutes of significant force and validity to bind the unrepresented province in all case whatsoever. These will include spiritual with temporal, and taken together must operate wonderfully to your purpose by convincing them that they are at present under a power something like that spoken of in the scriptures, which can only kill their bodies and damn their souls to eternity, to all eternity, by compelling them, if it pleases, to worship the devil.
What? Huh?
If it pleases
Alright.
to worship the devil.
So, giving you the freedom of religion, even if that religion means worshiping the devil. Oh, boy.
In scriptures, yes. As it will say in scripture.
Doesn't that sound similar to, how Connecticut is now allowing, the satanic Bible school at the same time as
the Bible school,
the Bible school, the Christian Bible School Club, and the Satan Club cannot run, without the Bible Club running too. They have to be running at the same time for them to be.
Because it pleases them, and they worship the devil. It says it right here in the good edict of Benjamin Franklin.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Ben. Yeah. Oh boy. Little did he know that this would be used for internal use.
Well, it was used internal use and outside of use. Mm. Well, it's really who's reading this though, because I feel like you don't really know this unless you're in law school.
I mean, we're common folk. All of us have no more than a high school degree or a GED, so I mean we're able to understand and comprehend this just fine. It might take us a couple of times to read it over, but when we use our context clues that we got from our education back in the school days, you can understand what it means.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not realize that he's, I didn't realize what he was doing here until now that we've gotten further into it. Now I understand, oh, okay.
Yes. And that was number 10. Now the question is, y'all, do we want to go ahead and try to bang out these next 10 rules?
We'll just go with 11 and 12, and we'll pick up next week on the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then.
Because it seems like these rules just keep getting longer and longer and longer.
Hey, I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But anyway, rule number 11. To make your taxes more odious. And more...
Maybe we should look up what odious means, because I don't know what that means.
It means odometer.
It's clearly talking about the religion based around Odie the dog from Garfield.
Come on now. Odie was a cult, right?
Odious. What does it mean? Extremely unpleasant, repulsive. Pretty odious character, odious hypocrisy. Odious Oda. Oh. P.U.
We don't want taxes now.
So odious. It means not so good.
Throw taxes in the sewer. That'll help.
Yeah, we gotta make them worse. You gotta make the taxes worse, all right? And more likely to procure resistance, send from the capital a board of officers to superintend the collection composed of the most indiscreet, ill-bred, and insolent you can find. Let these have large salaries and out of the extorted revenue, and live in open, grating luxury upon the sweat and blood of the industrious, whom they are to worry continually with groundless and expensive prosecutions before the above mentioned arbitrary revenue judges, all at the cost of the party prosecuted through acquitted, because the king is to pay no cost. Let these men, by your order, be exempted from all the common taxes and burthens of the province, though they and their property are protected by its laws. If any revenue officers are suspected of the least tenderness for the people, discard them. If others are justly complained of, protect and reward them. If any of the under officers behave so as to provoke the people to drub them, promote those to better offices. This will encourage others to procure for themselves such profitable drubblings by multiplying and enlarging such provocations, and all with work towards the end you aim all.
You aim at
all.
Okay, so what in the world is... What is that word? Drubbings?
Drubbings.
What is a drub?
Droppings, I'm guessing. You're nothing but a shrub. That's what we said, a drub.
These old English words, bruh.
Hey.
Okay, animal fat produced from the fatty or otherwise unusable parts of cow or pig carcasses. Similar to lard.
But yeah, it looks good.
Delicious.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't know how to bring that picture back down.
Would you want to eat some lard?
Sure.
Oh, that's dripping, also known as pork dripping.
Drippy.
Wow, why do I click on that and it gives me everything else that's not that?
How about that pastry right there? That pastry looks good of it. I click on it. Oh yeah.
Give me that pastry.
Dripping is also known usually as pork dripping or beef dripping, is an animal fat produced from the fatty, otherwise unusable parts.
Tell me why that looks like caramel.
A type of dripping known as mucky fat.
Delicious.
That looks like custard with some nuts in it.
Yeah.
Like that looks like some cobbler or some sort of some cream.
Yeah, but custard. I'm sure if you put that up under your nose, and then you put your finger in it, you'd be like, oh god.
That's why I just eat it like that's why I just eat it like wasabi and just not have my nut and pluck my nose. And easy that is.
It's clearly nature's custard.
I mean, clearly, you're talking to two guys who eat potted meat. All right. Yeah. See, that looks like a fine cuisine of potted meat.
I would gladly dip a cracker in there.
I would too. Cheese and chives.
I said drubbing. It's drubbing, dum dum.
Oh.
Wow, we went on that whole tangent and it wasn't even the word we needed. That's stupid of me.
Well.
So a drubbing, a beating, a thrashing, a resounding defeat in a match or contest.
I see.
But is it profitable though?
Profitable drubbing, like.
Mm-hmm.
Profitable beating and resounding from.
Yeah, we're gonna get rich off them.
Contest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then chapter 12. Another way to make your taxes odious is to
I guess. Under officers behave so as to provoke the people.
Make them do dumb things.
To drub them, to provoke the people, to drub them, to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Then, okay.
Then we get promoted to better officers, because,
But if you provoke the people to beat the crap out of you, why would you get promoted?
Simple, because they feel bad for me. I'm law enforcement, you're the common people. Take over my role.
Okay.
Role's for thee and not for me.
Interesting.
Anyway, rule number 12. Another way to make your tax odious is to misapply the produce of it all. If it was originally appropriated for the defense of the province and the better support of government and the administration of justice, where it may be necessary, then apply none of it to that defense, but bestow it where it is not necessary, in augmented salaries or pensions to every governor who has distinguished himself by his enmity to the people, and by calculating them to their sovereign. Calumniating.
What in the world? Okay. These words, bruh. What does calumniating mean?
I'm gonna say calculating.
No, that is not it. Calumniating. Make false or defamatory statements. Ooh.
Oh. To their sovereign. To their neighbors. This will make them pay it more unwillingly and be more apt to quarrel with those that collect it and those that oppose it, who will quarrel again with them, and all shall contribute to your main purpose of making them wary of your government. Should I continue on? Would you like to know more?
So, to make your taxes repulsive to the people, don't apply them in where it's needed. Apply them where it's not needed.
That's right.
Doesn't that sound familiar? And as we've been following politics of lately, so... Oh, boy. Do the curly. I do that a little too well.
Well.
Ooh, yeah. I think I've had enough of this for today. Yeah, I think I had enough.
We're only on number 13.
Yeah, my freaking lucky number. Fine, let's finish it out on lucky number 13.
If the people of any province have been accustomed to support their own governors and judges to satisfaction, you are to apprehend that such governors and judges may be thereby influenced to treat the people kindly, and to do them justice. This is another reason for applying part of that revenue in larger salaries to such governors and judges given as their commissions are, during your pleasures only forbidding them to take any salaries from their province, that thus the people may no longer hope any kindness from their governors, or, in crowned cases, any justice from their judges, and as the money thus misapplied in one province and extorted from all, probably will resent the misapplication, and that'll be it.
Could you just reread that last sentence one more time?
Province is extorted from all property, all will resent the misapplication. I didn't misread that. Want me to read it again? And as the money thus misapplied in one province is extorted from all, probably all will resent the misapplication.
Well, yeah. I would assume so. Because that's pretty much saying, like, you're not going to get, only the people that are in favor by the government are going to get all these big bonuses and salaries and, screw the little people. All right, we're going to wrap it up with that for today.
Mm-hmm.
We will continue with the rules for making a great empire into a smaller empire, basically destroying it from the inside out.
13 through 20, and then Tori will get to read her favorite
14 through 20.
14 through 20, and then we will also get to read "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death."
1775, one of the most famous speeches by one of our forefathers.
And that wraps it.
That wraps up the U.S. Constitution and other writings for today's episode. So, leave us a like. Remember to subscribe and follow all of our channels, which are all posted in all the description links below. And if you are interested in finding yourself a copy or owning a copy yourself of this book, I also post that in the links down below in the description box. Leave us your comments. What's the thing that you found most interesting today? Let us know. If you have any questions or you want us to go over something just a little more, please, again, leave your comments in the comment section down below. And we're going to leave you with our famous slogan, live life with eyes wide open. And we're going to give Tyler a round of applause for coming back on the show. And he's going to be here for like ever now. Because, he's our editor. So he stuck with us just like we stuck with him. It's equal exchange. All right, with that, y'all, we'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.